We achieve, we achieve this in many ways, including taking care of streams and wet watersheds, hosting cleanup days, and other efforts. Valley Water has 850 employees and a fiscal year 21 budget of approximately $610 million. The agency is governed by an elected board of directors with 7 members. Next slide, 3. This chart shows our land surface and how it sank when groundwater was overpumped with increasing population in Santa Clara County. We actively manage our groundwater and recharge it to ensure that this does not happen again, because sinking can have significant impacts on infrastructure. We also protect against saltwater intrusion. In this graph, the blue line is the groundwater elevation. The dashed green line is population, and the orange line is the surface of the land. You'll see the orange line goes down. Up until the 1970s, when we halted subsidence in the county, parts of San Jose sank as much as 13 feet. The reservoirs we built in the 1930s and 50s helped us capture water to replenish our groundwater, but explosive growth and major drought strained our resources. So we started importing water from the State Water Project in 1965 and from the Central Valley Project, the federal government, in 1980s. 1, natural groundwater. 2, reservoirs constructed to capture more local water. 3, land subsided about 13 feet in San Jose between 1915 and 1970. 4, first imported water deliveries from the State Water Project. And 5, increased imported water deliveries from the Central Valley Project. Next slide, please. Slide 4. What is the water used locally? Where is the water used locally? So how do we use water in our county? More than half of our water is used by residents, including for their landscaping. On average, half of residential water use is outdoors. That's why replacing lawns and water efficient landscaping is so important. You can learn more of this at watersavings.org. Businesses use 30% of water in the county, and we also have programs to assist with water efficient technologies for businesses as well. Let's go to the next slide, please. Slide 5. 50% of our water is imported. We have local water, we have imported water, we have recycled water and conservation of water. So we've talked about how businesses and families use the water we provide. But where exactly does Valley Water get this water? As you can see, Valley Water has a diverse water portfolio. About half of our water is imported from outside the county. Our local water supplies consist of both surface and groundwater, and that imported water is also used for groundwater recharge in South County. We also have recycled water, and we count on our water conservation programs as sources because every drop we don't use is water that's available for the future. However, the drought has made supplying water even more challenging. Next slide, please. Drought Monitor. Looking at this slide, you can see how Santa Clara County and most of California is in an extreme drought. In fact, this year's driest since 1977. In 2021, the drought caused reduced snowpack in the Sierra Nevada mountains, which means less imported water is available for Santa Clara. In addition, the Anderson Dam, which is the largest dam in our county, will be undergoing a seismic retrofit and will be unable to store water or collect runoff for the next 10 years. We also don't know how much worse drought conditions will get in the future. The current drought conditions require Valley Water to take action. Right now, Valley Water is working to bring an emergency water supply to meet the demand and keep our groundwater levels healthy for the rest of the year, 2021. and to better position ourselves for potential continuation of drought in 2022. Hang on. Okay. If we do not increase conservation measures and secure more water now, we could experience severe drought shortages next year. Water supply shortages can also lead to subsidence or land sinking, which can damage pipes, roads, and other expensive infrastructure. The good news is that we and our county and state partners have already begun to take action. On June 9th, Valley Water Board declared a water shortage emergency and called for a 15% mandatory reduction in water use compared to 2019. Shortly thereafter, the Santa Clara County Board of Supervisors adopted a drought emergency resolution, followed by Governor Newsom adding Santa Clara County to the state's drought declaration on July 8th. Next slide, please. Water prices have risen sharply in the drought. Another issue associated with the drought is the financial cost. This slide shows the spot price of water in California. And I want to point out that our team, Valley Water, is almost always able to locate and negotiate a better price than this. At the top of the screen, you see $839. That number reflects what the current costs are projected to be per acre foot. However, the basic idea is that when droughts cause the snowpack to dry up, securing water becomes challenging because imported water is relatively scarce and therefore more expensive. This makes water conservation all the more important because it will help us make up for the decreased imports and save money in the long run. It's a basic law of economics. When demand for water is high, but supplies are low, the price goes up. Next slide. Slide 8, climate change creating havoc with system. Climate change is creating havoc within our water supply system. Droughts are not only becoming more severe, but they are also occurring more often. In fact, the past 15 years have included 2 multi-year droughts, 2007 through 09 and 2012 through 16. As you can see in these slides, the 2021 Sierra Nevada snowpack melted 4 weeks earlier than usual, costing us over 685,000 acre feet of water. That's enough water to supply almost 7 million people for a year. To prepare for droughts, Valley Water is investing in long-term projects like Anderson Dam seismic retrofit and new water purification facilities. However, we also need to increase conservation measures now to make sure we are prepared to live with droughts in the future. Water conservation measures could include limits on watering lawns, bans on power washing driveways or buildings, limits on filling or uncovering pools, and requirements for car washes to recycle 50% of the water. Next slide, please. Water conservation should be a way of life. In the past few slides, we've seen how climate change and drought are making water conservation even more important. Valley Water encourages everyone to make water conservation a way of life in Santa Clara County. We offer residents and businesses great programs to help conserve water and save money. We encourage everyone to visit our website again, watersavings.org, to get more information. In Santa Clara County, about half the water used in a typical home is for outdoor use. This means that residents who convert their lawns to drought-resistant landscapes will save significant amount of water and money. Residents who transition their lawns are eligible for up to $3,000 in rebates from Valley Water's landscape program. Residents may also be eligible for free WaterWise outdoor survey that can help you understand different ways to save water in your yard, which will also help lower your water bill. Residents and businesses can save water and money by checking their house and facilities for leaks and installing efficient fixtures and appliances. In fact, businesses and residents alike can order free equipment and a lot of other water-saving devices using our online shopping cart, and we will ship it all to you free of charge. In addition, businesses can apply to the Water Efficient Technology WET program, which may provide up to $100,000 in rebates to businesses who plan to modernize their facilities with water-saving technology. Finally, we also recommend that residents limit their showers to 5 minutes and turn the water off while they brush their teeth. Sounds unconventional, doesn't it? Next slide, please. The drought is real. In conclusion, this drought is real and serious. It makes supplying water ever more difficult, and unfortunately, we can expect to see more droughts in our future. However, Valley Water is taking action now to ensure a reliable water supply for Santa Clara County. And I'd like to encourage all of you and your fellow business owners to join us in saving water and money and take advantage of these rebates and free water-saving equipment. Remember that a drop of water saved today is a drop of water we will have tomorrow. Lastly, I'd like to thank Brittany Sherman of the Morgan Hill Chamber of Commerce for hosting this water webinar. On behalf of Valley Water, I'd like to encourage all of you to join us in spreading the word about this drought emergency and the need to make water conservation a way of life in Silicon Valley. We'd also like to encourage you to take advantage of the different Valley Water rebates and programs that can help you save water and money. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Varela. That was wonderful. Great comprehensive overview of everything Valley Water. Appreciate that.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Do have a few questions if you have a couple more minutes with us.
Good.
Okay, great. So the first one I had, I know you showed the one slide where it kind of showed the different uses as far as residential versus business. When we're looking at the business use, I believe it was about 31%. What suggestion would you give to the businesses to try and decrease that or lower it, or are there programs that they can take advantage from a business perspective to help save water?
I think, Kristen, maybe you can jump in on that if you have the information as far as the percentages to be more precise in answering that question.
Sure. Thank you, Director Varela. Yeah, so a lot of businesses do also have outdoor areas. So we have, a large landscape program with a survey that comes out for free to see how, best to reduce water use. We have a customized irrigation budget tracking for the large landscapes as well. Then obviously our landscape rebate program also for businesses. We have specifically for businesses a water saving technology upgrade reuse program. So if businesses implement, new water efficient technologies, they can get a rebate, for example, for cooling towers, chillers, or any other on-site water use. We have a fixture replacement program, and we also have an online shopping cart. So like, for example, it has hotel door hangers, like specific things for businesses, pre-rinse spray valves for restaurants, and then efficient shower heads and things like that. Or like for restaurants, also the drinking water upon request sort of tents for the tables. So that's just a few things. And all of that can be found on watersavings.org.
Wonderful. Is it all broken up by industry as well, or you just kind of filter through what applies to your business?
We do have fact sheets on there, and yeah, we also have a hotline, so if there are any questions, but it should be pretty self-explanatory to find all these programs. Great,
thank you. I'd like to talk just for a minute too, and I guess address this. What I've heard a lot over the years when we're looking at a water shortage is, the residents trying to do the best that they can, but kind of pointing a finger at ag, and then ag pointing a finger back because they obviously need the water to grow the food that we eat and enjoy. So can you talk a little bit, I guess, about kind of the water use differences between the residential and ag? And I mean, I don't know, are there even any opportunities for ag to really cut back water, or is it kind of more beneficial for residents to cut back to give the extra water to ag so we can continue growing food? Or can you address that just a little bit?
Sure, of course. So with the water that we have in Santa Clara County, multiple sources, but South County, which is where we are, Morgan Hill, unincorporated area of San Martin and Gilroy, and agriculture, really the last vestiges of agriculture in Santa Clara is here in our South County area. When, as an example, when Anderson Dam was first built in the early 1950s, when you stand up on that hill and you look down, all you saw was agriculture. There were no homes, very few. But today, fast forward to where we are today, we have close to 150,000 people living in South County. And the only water that we have in South County is groundwater. We do not have treated water. When you go north into the San Jose area, we have 3 water treatment facilities. We have a single advanced water purification system where we recycle wastewater to purified water. We don't have that in South County. So all the residents, businesses, farmers, you name it, we all depend on the water that's underground. You stick a straw and it goes down into the aquifer, you suck it up. That's the water that comes out of your faucets and irrigates the land and is used for our businesses, residents. So during drought, we have to all fill the gap by conserving. That's what our plan is. Mother Nature, as she did in 27, took us out of a 5-year drought by delivering and filled all our reservoirs throughout the entire state, throughout the entire West Coast. But in less than 5 years, the population in the state is growing exponentially up and down. More people are depending on water. Mother Nature this last year did not deliver the snowpack that we need when we import 50% of that water. So what do? We all have to conserve. That is what we can do. Is that a sure recipe? Absolutely not. It is not. But your board of directors are looking at what we consider to be the sustainable water source for today and in our future is recycling water. Water purification. We're doing that in the north part of the county. We want to introduce that into the South County. It's not inexpensive, it's very expensive. So is the debate is who's going to pay for it? Well, in actuality, we're all going to pay for it. We cannot live without water. We can survive a few days without food. We cannot survive without water. So we're all in this to make it work together. So, but right now we're talking conservation. Help us reach those levels that we need to reach together. Hopefully that answered the question.
Yes, thank you. I believe you said, Director Varela, that you were a part of an advisory board or on a committee for homeless encampments. Is that correct?
Yes.
Can
Yes.
you talk just briefly about that, the work you've been doing?
Yes. So we actually started this about 5 years ago, for all the encampments in the county, and there's so many. And the reason why is many of these encampments are in our streams and in our creeks. And we cannot support that. And I know there are many people that are very conscientious and are concerned about these homeless encampments and want to help the people. We do too, but we don't want them living in the creeks and we don't want them in the streams. Creates hazards, and we have to maintain these streets, creeks and streams by sending in our crews to go in. And many times when we do that, our crews are met with hostility, with people there that they have pit bulls. Some of them have weapons, and they threaten our staff and our employees. So, we're not police, we're not enforcers, but unfortunately, many times we have to go in with the local sheriff or the local police department to preserve some peace. We've had people that suggest to us, well, why don't you allow us to put sanitation facilities there, porta potties, trash compactors, etc. Well, what that is doing is encouraging the encampments and the people that are there to stay there. We want to discourage that. The best way is for all of us in the county to find more permanent housing where these folks cannot live in the creeks and streams. It's dangerous. It's dangerous for them. It's dangerous for all of us. So, yeah, and so we listen to all the people, all the compassionate people that have solutions and ideas, and we do our best to negotiate and work with each and every one of them from throughout the Santa Clara County. And more specifically here in South County, in Morgan Hill and Gilroy, I'm very involved with those 2 cities, as I am with the cities in San Jose and throughout Santa Clara County. So we are working very close, but our mission at Valley Water is to find homes away from our creeks and streams permanently for these encampments.
Thank you. I know you gave a similar and a very brief presentation during our chamber breakfast a few weeks back. And I can't remember if it was Brian Sullivan or somebody had asked a question. I'm not sure if you remember what it was. I think it was about how LA gets their water versus how we're getting ours, or it was something along those lines, but your answer is really great. So if you could share that, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, I think I vaguely remember he was asking me a pointed question about the source of water. And interestingly enough, we all get the water from the same place, from the Central Valley. Southern California has other resources, but maybe you just recently heard that the Colorado River is drying up. And that's a primary source of water for Arizona, Nevada, New Mexico, and Southern California. So, but for years, Southern California has been drawing water from the Delta, as we do, and the same water from the Sierras, the snowpack, and from the dams and resources and rivers, the Sacramento River, the Trinidad, and the Shasta storage facilities. And all those facilities are down this year considerably, some at from 100% levels down to 50 to 30% levels. And so there's less water to draw from. But the answer is Metropolitan Water, which is LA's biggest water service area, including Orange County and San Diego, all draw water from the Central Valley as we do. We get 50% of our water here in Santa Clara from that resource. I'm not sure what's from Metropolitan is, but the good news about Southern California is that they've taken action to build up above ground water storage facilities over the years. So they have at least a 2-year water supply currently. So they can survive through this drought a little better than we can currently. And they have a much larger population than we have here. We service 2 million people. There are close to 20 million people in that part of the state. So that's what I can say about the question.
No, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. As someone who didn't understand that, you giving the explanation in the breakfast was very helpful to learn that.
Sure.
And I think that's all the questions I have. So unless you have some parting words of water wisdom, we are set to go.
Water wisdom, yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, I sound like a broken record, but we all have to do this together. You know, we just all have to stay in this conservation level. Pay attention. Do not waste water. And I know if you have questions, I am available. Our staff is available. We're here to work with you to help you as best we can. Visit our websites that we mentioned to you. Our people are here to help you. Our staff is available. Valley Water is here for you. Thank you very much for this opportunity to be in front of you today, and including my great staff. They're terrific people.
Yes.
Thank you, Brittany.
Thank you, Director Varela. Thank you, everyone else, for being here, and we'll see you next time. Take care.
Yes, you will.
Water.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.